So good morning, and let us start with the class, Samara. And I
Yes,
have
sir.
shared with you the my notes, my one presentation PDF on electrophoresis. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just go through that, and we will discuss it in today's class as well. Huh? And
Okay, sir.
if you find any question, just let me know. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Okay, please hold on. Huh? Yes, Samra, can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
And now I have made it on full screen. Slideshow mode. Is it visible now?
No, sir. But it's not on slideshow mode.
Okay, I made it from here. Huh? I think there is some issue with the internet connectivity. Anyhow, so in that case, I have to go with the like this PowerPoint mode without presentation mode only. Eh? Can you see it now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I hope it is visible to you. It is not very small.
Yes, sir.
I'll just try to increase the size. That is the maximum size I
Yes,
can
sir.
increase. And now it is better, I think. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. So now we will go to the next technique, that is electrophoresis. So in electrophoresis, there is separation of charge particle under applied electric field. As the name indicate, it is a combination of two words. Electro means electric charge or charged particles or charge, and phoresis means movement. Phoresis means
Yes, sir.
movement. So
Movement.
it is literally called movement under electric field. Movement under electric field,
Electric field.
and that movement under electric field will take place only of the charge particle. So it is separation of charge particle under applied electric field. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So in this technique, what has been done actually, we have certain biomolecules in our body which are having net charge. Can you name these molecules? The molecules, biomolecules which are having net charge. Yes, Samara?
Yes, sir.
Can you name some molecules which are having net charge? Okay, you know what is charge on DNA?
Sir, it's negatively charged.
Negatively charged. Very good. Eh? So I will not ask that why it is negatively charged. Eh? You must know the answer. And then what is the charge on the proteins?
Sir, they are, in majority cases, they are neutral because they have many polypeptide chains that are positively as well as negatively charged.
Oh, no, 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 no. Protein may be positively charged, protein may be negatively charged, or protein may be zwittronic also. Means no net charge. There will be
Okay,
charge,
sir.
but net charge will be zero. Now, how
Will
net
be
charge
zero.
will
Okay,
be
sir.
zero means like a protein, a part of a protein may have say +3 negative charge, another part of the
Yes, sir.
protein may have -3 negative charge.
-3. Okay,
So
sir.
although charge is there, but net charge is zero. Okay. So proteins
Okay, sir.
may possess, like according to the surrounding pH, protein may be negatively charged, protein may be positively charged, or it may not possess any net charge. Okay.
Any charge. Okay, sir.
So these two molecules are the chief biomolecules which are charged in nature, and these molecules are routinely separated in electrophoresis. Rather, I will say that electrophoresis is a preferred technique for the separation of DNA as well as proteins. Now you can
Proteins.
see
Okay,
here
sir.
like anode, it's a positively charged electrode, and cathode is a negatively charged electrode. And
Negatively
if you
charged.
have a mixture of biomolecules, positively and negatively charged biomolecules. So negatively charged ions or the anions, they will move towards the anode, and the cations will move towards the cathode. Okay. So how actually the separation takes place? So according to theory of electrophoresis, the velocity means how fast or how slow, because in my previous class in chromatography, I told you about differential migration. I told you about differential migration. What is that? Yes, Samara.
Hello?
Yes, Samara. In my previous class, I told you about differential migration. What is that?
Hello, sir?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sir, I'm getting a call from the university. Can we wait for 2 minutes?
Yes, yes, no problem. I'm waiting.
Okay, okay, ji. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Hello, sir?
Yes, Samara.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
What were you
then.
asking?
I was asking what is differential migration. I told you about differential migration.
Yes, sir.
So differential migration means
Differential migration.
when the component of a mixture, they migrate with different velocity.
Okay,
Like
sir.
in the
Yes, sir.
chromatographic system, some components are moving fast and some components are moving slow. So
Slow.
that concept
Yes,
is
sir.
called differential migration, and differential migration is essentially required for any separation. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
here also in electrophoresis, if two components are moving with different velocity, that means one is moving fast and one is moving slow, then it is again called differential migration, and that is the principle of separation, that how separation will take place. Now the velocity of a charged particle in an electric field is given by an equation. Just a second. Okay. So the velocity of a charged particle in an electric field is given by the equation V is equal to EQ upon F, where E is the electric field on the system, like on the electrophoretic system,
Electrophoresis. Okay, sir.
and Q is the net charge on the molecule, and F is the frictional coefficient, so which depend upon the mass and shape of the molecule.
Molecule.
Now, if you see this equation, now E is constant. So how E is constant? Because if in this chromatograph, in this electrophoretic system, there are n number of molecules, then the strength of the electric field is equal in on all. That means electric
Okay,
field
sir.
is constant to all. Number two is net charge on the molecule. Now net charge on the molecule is also like a constant, because it is not a variable value. Either the charge will be negative or positive. So if all
Okay, sir.
negatively charged molecules are inside electrophoretic system, then on all negatively charged molecules, the strength of the electric field that is applied will be the same. Okay. So this also
Okay,
becomes
sir.
constant. And the only variable is F, frictional coefficient, which depends upon the mass and shape of the particle. That
Yes,
means
sir.
if a molecule is moving down a chromatographic system, how fast or how slow it will move, it will depend on the frictional coefficient. And frictional coefficient depends on
Sir,
Mass
frictional
of the
coefficient.
molecule. Depend
Mass,
on
yes.
mass of the molecule. So higher the
Mass.
mass, higher the mass, higher the frictional
Higher
coefficient,
the frictional coefficient.
and velocity will be
Velocity will be lower.
low velocity. Very good. And smaller the molecule,
Higher will be the velocity.
lower the frictional coefficient and higher will be the velocity. So in a electrophoretic system, the separation is largely on the basis of mass and shape of the molecule. Shape also
Yes,
doesn't,
sir.
shape play a role, but when we treat all the molecules in a similar way, then the shape is also, say, we can say that there is not much difference in the shape. So separation is largely on the basis of mass of the molecule. Separation is largely basis on the mass of the molecule.
Mass of the
You got
molecule.
the idea? Like in
Yes,
chromatography,
sir.
we discussed many concepts. One concept
Yes,
was
sir.
based on the mass. What was the name of that
Mass.
chromatography? In which the
So
separation
gel.
is based on the mass.
So gel exclusion chromatography.
Very good, eh? Gel exclusion chromatography. So
Yes,
here
sir.
again the separation is based on the mass of the molecule,
Mass.
and it is a preferred technique for separation of proteins as well as nucleic acids. Okay.
Liquid. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Now we have one more concept that that is called electrophoretic mobility. So electrophoretic mobility, we discussed about velocity. Now we say electrophoretic mobility. Now electrophoretic mobility is given by the sign mu, and it is a comparative value. It is a comparative value.
Comparative value.
Means if two or more than two molecules are under electrophoresis in a system, then what will be the mobility of one molecule in relation to other molecules, right? So it is called electrophoretic mobility given by the equation V upon E. And if we substitute V here from this previous equation, right, we can substitute V. So it will
Yes, sir.
become Q upon F, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
electrophoretic
sir.
mobility depends on charge and frictional
Charge.
coefficient.
Frictional coefficient.
Now again, if two molecules are migrating in towards one velocity, like towards one direction, then definitely charge on those molecules is same, whether they are
Yes, sir.
negatively charged or whether they are
Or
positively
positively
charged.
charged.
So that also become constant. So mu again depends on the frictional coefficient. Mu again depend on the frictional coefficient, right? So now coming to the classification of electrophoresis, basically there are two electrophoresis. One is called moving boundary electrophoresis and another is called zone electrophoresis. Okay. Now moving boundary electrophoresis, it is of historical importance, and it was the first concept of moving boundary, like the electrophoresis, that was discovered. And like it was initially, like it was, the concept was given by Arnett Julius in 1937, and for this discovery he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1948. So this is electrophoresis in a free solution. Electrophoresis in a free solution. Like if you have a like conducting material through which electricity can pass, then if we mix some biomolecule in this solution, then the molecules may migrate to opposite electrode. Okay, so this was first idea that how electrophoresis can take place, and this is one graphical representation that how it took place. Actually, the early researchers, they took a U-tube, and in that U-tube they filled it with a buffer solution. Now, when they filled it with a buffer solution, then it was a conducting material and the circuit was complete. If you do not fill it with it's a glass U-tube, if you do not fill it with the conducting solution, then electricity cannot move because the circuit is incomplete. So to complete the circuit, the U-tube was filled with the electrolyte, like a buffer solution. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now in
Yes,
that,
sir.
if we mix certain compounds which are charged in nature as well as colored,
Colored.
so what people see that initially the color was distributed uniformly, right? But
Yes,
when
sir.
the system was switched on, then the molecule, they started migrating towards one electrode. Like suppose
Okay,
here,
sir.
the molecules are anionic in nature and the molecules are migrating towards anode. So you see that initially the level of the molecule was up to here and up to here. You can see this dotted line, right? So this was our like the initial boundary. Now what happens the moment we switch on electricity, then these molecules, they started migrating towards anode. So this boundary is descending and this boundary is ascending. Okay, so that's why this concept was
Ascending.
called moving boundary electrophoresis, right? You can see it here more clearly
Moving boundary.
that this was the level
Right,
of the colored molecule initially, but when electricity was switched on, then we find that some of the molecules, they are moving towards the anode. That means they are negatively charged. They are anionic molecule moving towards the anode. So this is a concept only, because nowadays we are not using moving boundary electrophoresis. The problem with moving boundary electrophoresis was that, okay, we got separation. Like here you see that we have pulled these molecules towards one anode, one electrode, that is say anode. But how do we recover these molecules? Like if we try to, the moment we switch on electricity, the molecule again mix up due to diffusion pressure. So like separation was there, separation could be achieved, but separation was not sustainable. It was like the moment we switch off electricity, the molecule will mix again. So how to
Oh,
solve
yes, sir.
that problem? So you tell me how to solve that problem. You have some idea how to solve that problem?
Sir, we can use something in place of the solution that
Yes,
just
very good, very good, very good. Since the matrix is watery matrix, buffer matrix, a loose matrix.
yes, sir.
So
Yes,
people
sir.
thought of that instead of using a loose matrix, if we can have a rigid matrix, then
Rigid.
the
Yes, sir.
separation may withstand. Okay. And with this
Yes, sir.
concept, we like invented the zone electrophoresis,
Hmm.
in which the matrix became, initially it became solid, like we started using paper, because
Paper. Okay, sir.
simultaneously the science of chromatography was also developing, and people have developed paper chromatography. So in
Okay.
electrophoresis also people used paper, and it was like dipped in a buffer solution, and buffer solution worked because paper is a bad conductor of electricity. But if you
Yes, sir.
moisten the paper with buffer, then it will become a good conductor, and then the molecule may move. So we got two kind of electrophoresis. One in which the matrix was made solid. We used filter paper, and this became the paper electrophoresis. Later on, which we found that this electrophoresis was also having certain disadvantages, and that disadvantage were removed in another electrophoresis, that is called gel electrophoresis. Okay, so we'll discuss it. So what we have in zone electrophoresis, zone means the molecules will be like separated in form of bands, and they will stay
Yes,
there
sir.
in form of bands. So this is a simple instrumental design of a zone electrophoresis, where you have a support, and you see that we have applied a paper wick here. So
Yes,
on
sir.
this paper wick, like we moistened the paper wick with this buffer solution here, so that continuously buffer is transferred through this paper wick to this paper from electrophoretic paper, and then we applied the sample, and the sample can migrate. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
this was the first idea of like electrophoresis on a solid surface, and where you can see that the bands, they were stable. The bands were stable. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But problem with paper electrophoresis was, number one, that the matrix in paper was very rigid. It was having a specific pore size. So any
Yes, sir.
molecule which is having size more than that pore, it cannot be separated in that electrophoresis.
Okay, sir.
So we got another idea, that can we make this matrix, like initially in moving boundary, the matrix was, it was solution,
It
what
was
we
a
matrix,
solution. Yes, sir.
solution, and in paper it was a solid matrix.
A
So you have
solid.
a
Yes, sir.
liquid matrix in moving boundary electrophoresis, and you have a solid matrix in the paper electrophoresis.
Paper
Then we
electrophoresis.
thought of that, can we have a matrix in between, means neither solid like a paper nor flexible
Liquid
like
like a
a liquid.
solution.
So we got the concept of gel electrophoresis,
Gel.
in which the matrix is made in form of gel. Okay.
Gel.
So we have two kind of gel electrophoresis. One is called agarose gel electrophoresis, and another is called
Polyacrylamide.
gel
Yes, sir.
electrophoresis. So in agarose gel electrophoresis, agarose is used for making the gel, and in polyacrylamide like acrylamide and bisacrylamide, mixture of acrylamide and bisacrylamide is
Bis.
used for preparation of the gel. Okay.
Gel.
So this gel electrophoresis is performed in two ways. One is horizontal and another is vertical. Okay.
Vertical. Yes,
Horizontal
sir.
gel electrophoresis is largely done in case of separation of DNA, and vertical
DNA, yes,
gel
sir.
electrophoresis is, I'm not saying exclusively, it is largely done for protein,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, for DNA separation also sometimes we use vertical gel
Can use. Okay.
electrophoresis. So, and these are the instrumental design for horizontal gel electrophoresis. We call it a submarine also. Why
Horizontal.
submarine? Because you can see that the gel is dipped in the
Submerged in
buffer
the buffer.
solution.
Buffer. Yes, sir.
Yes, buffer solution. So sometimes we call it submarine, submerged, or horizontal. And largely we call it agarose also. Why we call it agarose? Because mostly in horizontal gel electrophoresis, the polymerizing material is agarose. So we call
Agarose.
it agarose gel electrophoresis. In case of
Okay.
vertical, you see that the sample is moving from top to down vertically, and you have the upper buffer tank here, you have the lower buffer tank here, and the gel is placed in between. So molecules are moving from top to down. So the molecules are moving vertically. So
Top to
that's why
down.
it is called vertical gel electrophoresis.
Vertical gel.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if you just talk about, if you compare both the gel electrophoresis, I have given a comparison, you can go through that. But yes, if I say that which one is easy, fast, less expensive, then the answer is horizontal, because horizontal gel electrophoresis, like the gel can be set up very easily, right? Gel can be set up very
Yes, sir.
easily. It can be performed very fast, because a routine gel you can run in say half an hour maximum.
Yes, sir.
And then like the agarose itself or the equipment itself is not costing much, because agarose is one of the cheapest polymer available with us. Now when we compare it with vertical, then the equipment is also a bit costly. Run time is very high. Generally when we are separating a protein, then it takes around say around 2 to 3 hours minimum. It may be more
Okay, sir.
compared to like what kind of mixture we have. So the separation time is also more. And then the bisacrylamide and acrylamide and the other requirements for say polymerizing the gel, they are costly. Like we use ammonium persulfate. So these are costly. So if you compare horizontal gel electrophoresis and vertical gel electrophoresis, then horizontal electrophoresis is fast, convenient, and cost effective. Vertical
Okay,
gel
sir.
electrophoresis is time taking, little bit like difficult to make, like you have to set up the system, cast the gel between the plates and all that. So it is cumbersome and it is costly. So we have to make
Okay,
a
sir.
choice that whether our work can be done with horizontal gel electrophoresis, or do we need to go to the vertical gel electrophoresis.
Vertical. Okay, sir.
Now coming to horizontal
Okay.
gel electrophoresis, the polymerizing agent is, and this is one difference you can see. Like this is agarose, which is a very simple kind of polymer, you can see. Very simple kind
Yes,
of
sir.
polymer. Now this is acrylamide, a mixture of acrylamide and bisacrylamide, polyacrylamide. And you can see that the mixture is, that the polymer is very complex. So that's
Yes, sir.
why this complex polymer is used for separation of proteins, which are relatively complex molecule. And this agarose is used for separation of largely nucleic acids, which are comparatively simpler molecules.
Simple.
So when I say
Yes,
that nucleic acids are simple as compared to proteins, can you just explain it? Can you just give your view? Can you just explain why it is so? I'm saying that DNA is, or RNA is a simpler molecule as compared to protein. Can you comment on that?
Yes, sir. Because the nucleic acids are the two chains that are just folded together, And in proteins, there are several chains, the polypeptide chains that are just fused together to form a single protein. We can say that the protein is more complex.
Okay, okay. No, but your answer is not fully correct. The
Okay, sir.
the answer is regarding the like how they are synthesized, how they are made. Like if you see DNA or RNA, they're also polymer. Protein is also polymer.
Hmm.
But
Yes, sir.
nucleic acids are polymer of only 4 nucleotides. Right? A DNA is a
Yes, sir.
polymer of only
Mhm.
4 nucleotides. Like
4 nucleotides.
means
Yes, sir.
every fifth nucleotide
Mm.
will be a repetition.
The same one.
Will
Yes,
be a
sir.
repetition, right? But if you
Yes,
talk
sir.
about protein, then protein is made up of
Mhm.
how many amino acids?
20 amino acids.
20 amino acids. So you have
Sir.
much more structural
Yes,
variation
sir.
in protein as compared to DNA. So
The nucleic
protein
acid. Yes, sir.
are much more complex molecule as compared to
Nucleic
DNA.
acids.
Okay, so
DNA.
that's
Okay, sir.
why for a complex molecule, we have selected a complex polymer like PAGE, polyacrylamide, and for a simpler molecule like DNA, we have selected a simple molecule like agarose. So this is
Yes, sir.
a table of difference between agarose and polyacrylamide. You can just go through that.
Okay, sir.
These are the parts of the horizontal gel electrophoresis. This is the gel tank. This is the casting tray where we cast the gel. Then these are the combs for like making wells in the gel. And then this is the power supply, and these are the connectors. Okay. So I think
Okay, sir.
I will uh, just first go to this one, like how we cast the gel. So we take agarose, put it in a buffer, and then boil it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
it will make a suspension, right? It won't be a solution, it will
Right,
be a
sir.
suspension. And when
Suspension.
this suspension will be allowed to cool at around 40 degrees centigrade, then it will be converted in a gel. So we have a
Gel.
casting tray, then we can use these spacers to decide the size of our gel. So we can, like, the molten gel is poured inside this and it is allowed to cool, and then simultaneously we put a comb here and it is allowed to cool. So when it
Yes,
comes
sir.
at room temperature, it solidifies and wells are created in the
Gel.
system, right? So that's
Yes,
how
sir.
you can see, like you can see this is a gel, and the samples are generally loaded like DNA samples are mostly, because mostly we are using either DNA or RNA. So the samples are
Yes, sir.
loaded with a dye. You know, you might be knowing that the DNA sample, it is mixed with a dye, that is bromophenol blue, and that gives a color to the DNA, right? Hello. Yes, sorry, Samra, there was a disconnection from my side. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now I think you can hear me. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now can you see the presentation again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happened, that the
Okay,
DNA
sir.
sample, it is mixed with bromophenol blue, and that bromophenol blue is called tracking dye. It is called tracking dye. Now my question here
Okay.
is that why do we use a
Tracking
tracking
dye.
dye? Can we see a DNA molecule with naked eye? Can you see a DNA with naked
No,
eye?
sir.
Why not? Why not? We cannot see DNA by naked eye. If it is in a solution, we cannot see anything. The reason
Hello.
being because, yes, can you hear me? Yes, Samra, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello. Yes, sir. Now I can hear you.
Okay. So, because the
Okay, sir. Can
lambda,
you please repeat the question?
yeah, the lambda max of DNA is 260 nanometer. So since 260 nanometer is beyond the visible range, we cannot see DNA in a
Yes,
solution.
sir.
Okay.
We cannot see with the naked eye. Yes, sir.
Okay. So just to see that up to
Yes,
which
sir.
length the
Okay,
DNA
sir.
has migrated, we add a tracking dye, bromophenol blue. Okay. And along
Okay,
with
sir.
bromophenol blue,
Yes, sir.
we add another dye to DNA that I think you know that there is a dye that is called visualizing dye. Okay, I'll tell you now. First, just so what we do, we prepare our sample like this, and then we add bromophenol blue, and we also add glycerol to give it little bit of weight so that it can migrate like in a coherent manner. And the samples are then loaded in the
Okay,
well
sir.
like this. You can see now, and you can see it very clearly because we are having a color dye, so we can
Yes, sir.
during while loading also we can be very clear that whether the loading has been made or not. Okay. And now the like
Yes, sir.
system is
Yes,
made
sir.
like this. So this is a horizontal gel electrophoresis system. This is your gel, and we have loaded DNA here. And see, we have loaded DNA always at a negative electrode. Why? Because DNA is negative
Yes, sir.
charge.
Because
Okay.
DNA is negative charge.
If I
Yes, sir.
would have loaded
Yes,
it
sir.
here on positive charge, what would have happened? This DNA would have fallen in the buffer, no
It
separation.
would move.
No, it
Yes,
would
sir.
have moved, but
Yes,
it would
sir.
have fallen in this buffer and no separation.
But yes,
We
sir.
could not see
Yes,
DNA,
sir.
right?
Okay, sir.
So here you see we have loaded it
Yes,
on
sir.
the negative electrode, and we have pulled it towards the positive electrodes. When we are pulling the DNA towards positive electrode, the DNA molecules, they are experiencing friction due to their collision with the gel matrix, right?
Gel.
And due to that frictional
Right, sir.
coefficient, we achieve differential migration, right? So you come here,
Right,
you
sir.
do differential migration. So the DNA which is small is experiencing less friction and
Less
it moves fast.
friction. Yes, sir.
Now the DNA which is large in size experience more friction and it moves
Yes,
slow.
sir.
So simply there is
Okay,
a
sir.
separation based on size. There is separation based on
Size. Yes, sir.
size. Like small
Size.
DNA move fast and larger DNA moves slow, and we got separation like
Slow.
that, right? So you can see here.
Right, sir.
This is that again the equipment we have loaded. You can see these you know, like wells air filled with blue color
Yes,
dye.
sir.
So we have loaded it here.
Yes, sir.
So now it will move from here to here. Okay. So now
Yes,
you
sir.
see it was the loading point here, cathode, and you see it is moving towards the anode. You can see it. And you can see
Yes, sir.
that because of bromophenol blue, we can see that the electrophoresis process is going on,
This.
right? So once the
Right, sir.
electrophoresis, it like the blue dye move to another end, then we simply take it out and then we like stain the gel. Now see, when we see a gel, nothing will be visible on the gel. Why not? See, like bromophenol blue is moving and we have DNA somewhere here, but nothing is visible. Why it is not visible? Because DNA lambda max is in UV region and it is not visible
yes,
to
sir.
naked eye. So to enhance
Yes, sir.
visualization of DNA, what we do, we add a tracking dye to it. Sorry, we add a visualizing dye to it. And that visualizing dye is?
Visualizing dye, yes, sir.
What is the name of that visualizing dye?
Sir, ethidium bromide.
Yes, very good. So we use a intercalator as a visualizing dye. Although ethidium bromide is the most common dye which is used, although it is not very safe dye, you might have heard about that it is a unsafe dye. It is an intercalator and it is a carcinogenic dye. So it need to be handled very carefully. And whenever we are handling ethidium bromide, we must always wear gloves. Without gloves, we must handle it. Okay. So this ethidium bromide is a intercalator. So this dye will intercalator, and additionally, not only it is an intercalator, it is a fluorescent dye. It is a fluorescent dye.
Fluorescent dye.
So it will intercalate with DNA, and when we expose it to a particular wavelength of UV radiation, then it gives fluorescent band. So you can see, like here you can see fluorescent band, and these bands are of DNA, right?
DNA,
okay.
Right, sir.
So you can see that the absorption maximize in the UV range 300 and 360 nanometer, and the emission maximize at 590. Now 590 is visible to us, but 300 or 360 is not visible to us.
Not, yes, sir.
So we use this visualizing dye for for this thing,
Tracking the DNA.
Then we
Yes,
have, since it is a mutagenic, so we need to handle it with care. So we have other safer alternative like CyberSafe or xylene Cylone, and also we have methylene blue. Then some more strains have been developed by the other companies which are dealing in this particular area. Okay,
yes, sir.
like this you can see, and this is a equipment called trans illuminator. This is a equipment called
Mm-hmm.
trans illuminator,
Trans illuminator.
which expose the gel to the UV light, and
UV
after
light.
exposure
Yes,
to
sir.
UV light, we can see the bands of DNA.
Bands.
Okay,
DNA.
so I hope it
Yes,
is
sir.
clear to you that it
Yes,
is
sir.
largely used for quantitation or like quality and quantity of DNA, estimation the size of molecule. It is also used
Yes,
for
sir.
purification of DNA, and we can also analyze the PCR products.
PCR
And
products. Yes, sir.
molecular diagnostic and genotyping the technique is used. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
coming
sir.
to the next one, that is the polyacrylamide. It is largely performed on a vertical gel. You can see this is a equipment. It's a vertical
Yes, sir.
gel equipment, and it is largely used for separation of proteins.
Proteins.
Now this
Proteins.
protein gel electrophoresis, it is basically of two types. One is called native page and another is called non-native page. Okay. Native means it is called, we call it non-denaturing electrophoresis also. Non-denaturing electrophoresis also. Sometimes we call it isoelectrophoresis also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what happens that in native page, the proteins are separated based on their like
Size.
in
Oh,
their, no, not size. It is on size, but the proteins are separated in their natural biologically
natural.
active
Okay, sir.
three-dimensional structure. Okay,
Sure.
it's a very difficult task, because if I want to
Yes, sir.
separate enzyme, if I break the enzyme, then activity will be gone. So if I
Yes,
want
sir.
to one enzyme, then if I do the native separation, I will be separating the enzyme in its physiologically
Actual form.
active form. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then another one is called non-native page. Common name is SDS
SDS
page,
page.
and it is most widely used, which is for structural determination. Suppose if I want to
Yes, sir.
determine the structure of a polypeptide, then I don't want to preserve the activity. So simply I will denature it and then separate it. So if I will say
Okay,
on the
sir.
degree of difficulty, if I say that the SDS page is at 1, then I will say that native page is at 100, right? So separating
Yes,
a
sir.
protein in native form is very difficult, but yes,
Mm.
SDS page is comparatively easy. So we simply,
Easier.
what we do, we denature the protein, right? We denature
Right,
the
sir.
protein, and there are many methods of denaturing. One method is like one constituent is like we add SDS to it. So SDS is a detergent. It is an anionic detergent. It is sodium dodecyl sulfate. It is
Yes, sir.
sodium
Sodium
dodecyl
dodecyl sulfate.
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 Now what happens that this is the structure of SDS. So this is the hydrophobic part. Dodecyl means 12 molecules methyl, and then you have this sodium attached to
And
this
sulfate.
sulfate molecule, right?
Sulfate. Yes, sir.
So it got
Yes, sir.
two parts. One is this hydrophilic part, like sodium, it is having a ionic bond with the sulfate, and then you have
Yes,
the
sir.
hydrophobic chain. Right?
Hydrophobic part.
Now
Yes,
what
sir.
happens actually that the moment you put it in water, this ionic bond breaks. So when this ionic bond
Okay.
breaks, there will be a net charge on this SDS. What will be the net charge on this SDS? Can you tell me?
So negative.
It will be negative, because initially it was not charged, because this oxygen
There
of
was
the
positive
sulfate
charge.
was having ionic bond with sodium, right? So
Yes, sir.
oxygen was negatively charged, sodium was positively charged, net charge on this molecule was 0. But the moment you put it in water, because ionic bonds are highly breakable in water, this ionic bond breaks, sodium is released, and ultimately on this dodecyl sulfate we got negative charge. Now when you mix this SDS with protein, then what will happen that using this hydrophobic part, this hydrophobic tail, it will open the core of the protein like this. There is a model called pin cushion model. So this SDS behave like a pin, like pin cushion means this hydrophobic part behave like the tail of the pin, and this sulfate behave like the
Mhm.
head of the pin. Now the tail is hydrophobic and head is hydrophilic. So
Hydrophilic.
what happens, like this chain, the tail, like the pin, it inserts itself in a globular protein and make it linear. So it give us two advantages. One is that the protein may be negatively charged or protein may be positively charged or neutronic. Once we treat it with SDS, the protein acquire
Mhm.
universal
Negative charge.
universal negative charge. Second thing is that due to action of that like pin model or pin cushion model, the protein chain opens and a globular protein becomes linear.
Linear.
So that, so what will be the advantage here? What will be the advantage?
So so the shape of all the proteins would be similar.
Would be similar, as well as its separation will become easy,
Yes, sir.
because it can easily enter inside the pores of the matrix. But a globular
Yes, sir.
protein, it will be, for a globular protein, it will be difficult to
Mhm.
enter in the pores
Difficult.
of a protein. So
Yes, sir.
by treatment with SDS, the protein acquire universal negative charge and it become linear so that it can be separated easily. Okay, right?
Okay, sir.
So this is all about polyacrylamide gel. You just read it. And for breaking protein, we also use a agent called beta mercaptoethanol, which is, suppose in this protein, if I have somewhere, if I have a disulfide linkage, disulfide linkage, if I have, then
Mhm.
this protein will never become linear. SDS will try to open, but SDS can only open the
Okay, sir.
protein which is hydrophobic,
Mm.
right? The protein core it can open, but if there is a
Mm.
disulfide linkage here, this protein will be again globular. So to break that disulfide linkage, we use a agent called beta mercaptoethanol. So we
Beta
delegate the
mercaptoethanol.
protein by doing three processes. One is we add SDS, another is we add beta mercaptoethanol, and third one is we heat
Beta
it,
mercaptoethanol.
and we heat it. Okay, we heat it.
Mm.
So when we will heat,
Okay.
most of the hydrogen bonds will be broken. When we treat with the beta mercaptoethanol, the disulfide linkage will be broken. And when we treat with SDS, then the core of the protein will be loosened, right? So by doing this process, the protein become linear, universal negative charge, right? And then this protein is
Right,
like
sir.
loaded here, like you can see the whole procedure, like how it is done. You have this assembly, like you have two glass plates. Between these two glass plates, we have casted the gel, and then we have applied this comb here, and then we fill it with the molten gel and buffer. And then you can see that we have applied our sample, we have separated, and then we have analyzed the proteins, like you can see here. So this is the negative electrode here, anode here, and then you can see that we have added the proteins, and the proteins a graphical representation. So you have upper buffer tank, you have a lower buffer tank, and the proteins are moving from top to bottom.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, like this.
Bottom.
So you
Okay,
see the
sir.
whole procedure, like you have the glass plates, you fix the glass plate using two clips, you seal it from three sides, then you pour the like you just pour the gel inside that, and then you put the comb, right? Now gel, you can make it accordingly, like in SDS page, the
Right, sir.
gel is made in two parts. One is resolving gel, and one other is stacking gel. And in resolving gel, what is the difference? Actually, the porosity of resolving gel is less as compared to the uh, stacking gel. So mostly stacking gel is used with, like you see, it is like you can say, it is 30% acrylamide 1.6 ml, and it is 30% acrylamide 3.3 ml, means it's almost double, right? So that means porosity of stacking gel is less, so that the protein can be loaded evenly, and then in resolving gel the protein is separated, right? So after doing it, we put it in a chamber to pour the buffer in the upper tank, take out the comb, load the sample, and then run the system. And after running the system, we have to stain the protein, right? Because again, protein cannot be visualized by naked eye. And here also we use the bromophenol blue as a tracking dye, because again, protein cannot be visualized by naked eye. What is the lambda max of protein? What is the lambda max of protein? Yes, Samra, what is the lambda max of protein?
Lambda max of protein you're asking?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, tell me.
Yes, sir. Hello?
What is the lambda max of protein?
Sir, it's 200 nanometer?
No. It is 280 nanometer. Okay.
280. Okay, sir.
So again, it is not visible to naked eye. So we use, you can see this is a tracking dye for tracking the progress of migration. And then again, we stain it. And for staining, we use a dye that is called Comesive blue, Comesive brilliant blue. Okay. So that gives a blue color spot to the protein. So you can see at first we stain it, then we de-stain it, because initially whole gel will be stained. And after de-staining, we can see a clear background with blue color spots, which are representing the protein.
Proteins.
There is another dye that is called silver nitrate, which is used for staining. And you can see this is a Comesive blue and this is silver nitrate. Here you see blue color spots. Here you see a gray color spot, right?
Gray color spots.
But yes,
right, sir.
Silver nitrate is a costly dye, but yes, it is sensitivity of silver nitrate is more as compared to, we call it silver stain, we call it Comesive blue stain. So the sensitivity of silver staining is more as compared to the Comesive blue staining. Okay? So this is all I have given you about it. So you can, I think, go through it. And
okay, sir.
I think 2D electrophoresis you do not have in your course. You have one technique called, I do not know, you have isoelectrofocusing in your course or not? Let me just check it. If it is there, then I will cover it. Let me just check it. Okay, you have isoelectrofocusing. Okay, anyhow, I'll just cover it. So SDS page is called 1D electrophoresis. It is called 1D electrophoresis. Why it is called 1D electro? Can you hear me, Samra? Yes, Samra, can you hear me?
1D electrophoresis.
1D SDS page is called 1D electrophoresis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Because separation is only on the basis of size.